What is the Kalalali Washim Shaiba Shemaka Kodash Doba and also the apostles of Great Millstone? Shalom to all the brothers in the highway and byway preaching this word in sincerity and in truth with much honesty. I'm the brother Shapar from James Jamaica Camp. And what we want to focus on now is Matthew 24 and 7. You know, a few things is mentioned there in the in that text here, and it in some ways they are related. You know what I mean? Especially the point dealing with famine. And that's what I really want to speak about, famine. Because major famine is coming up on the planet. And you should know how, you know what I mean, this is going to happen, you know. First, it's prophetic, you know, but the inner workings, getting to the point of famine, is important for you to know, you know. So that's what I'm going to get down into. Yeah, so I'm going to read the scripture here. This is Matthew 24 and 7. It says, "For nations shall rise against nation, and kingdoms against kingdom, and there shall be famine and pestilences and earthquake in diverse places." Now, going back into the ancient world, you know, when there's a famine, it's basically crop failing. You know, just straight up crops failing. You know, whether it want to be some disaster or whatsoever. You know, that's how famine used to come. Now, you know, in our modern times, you know, they have fail-safe mechanisms, you know, set up for such a scenario not to happen. Then how famine is going to hit the world in this modern time? You know what I mean? You have food storages, you know, you have food production in different places on the planet to supply the whole world with food. So how this famine is going to come about? Now, it's important to look in the text, because in the text here it says, nations shall rise against nation. Where you need for, and not only that, it tell about pestilences and earthquakes. Now, today, stability, you know what I mean, whether they want to be economic stability, you know, social stability, whether they want to be wars going on or whatsoever, you know what I mean, can disrupt food supply. You know what I mean? All these things rely on stability. You know, the not be able to have a famine, it rely on stability. Not so much as crops not coming in, even though that is gonna play a main factor in the famine that's coming. But mainly the famine that's coming is not because there's no food storage or food being produced other places in the world. It's going to be food reaching your table from where it's produced, man. Because in modern times, here, a lot of nations depending on other nations for a vast majority of the food that they consume. It coming from abroad, it have to go up on a ship, it have to go by a truck or something to get distributed. And that's the problem today. Today, the famine that's going to happen today is that the food don't reach your table. And there's a domino effect if food is not distributed. This is how we're going to get famine. The domino effect of you not getting the food. You know, because even though food is produced and you're not getting it, that means that whosoever producing the food is ending up at a loss. You know what I mean? And COVID is a good example to show you how this basically can be a factor. You know, let me find a video. History. This video here.
Hey everyone, I make money trading online with Expert Option. Let me show you how.
Under the COVID-19 pandemic, America's food supply chain is experiencing disruption. The U.S. food industry relies heavily on human labor to move food from harvest to market, and is only as strong as the people who work it. While the U.S. Department of Agriculture assures the public that
the American food supply is strong, resilient, and safe,
the chain is at risk because its workers are at risk. Let's take a look at the different parts of the industry that have been affected during the pandemic. Growers are experiencing unprecedented workflow disruption. Farmers have been left with fewer distribution options, given the reduction in demand from traditional buyers such as restaurants, schools, and hotels. Growers are having to figure out how to adapt. For example, selling wholesale doesn't work for a consumer without a need for a 10-pound bag of onions for onion rings. Crops planted earlier in the year are either getting left to rot, plowed back into the field, or composted. Unpurchased milk is getting dumped. With reduced processing plant capacity and no place for the excess animals, some farmers are euthanizing livestock. An excess of crops and meat without buyers leave many farmers wondering how they will stay in business. Food bank donations, normally an available option, have strict protocols in place. Growers must meet packaging requirements by the FDA and USDA, and for many, adapting to a new model comes at too high a price.
Yeah, so you see the whole chain reaction that just one pestilence basically do, you know what I mean, to the food supply. Seeing that is only one. No, all of these things are connected. The stability is connected to food. No, that is only one link in the chain. Now, what about economic ramifications? You know what I mean? And economic ramifications basically, ultimately, food shortages and economic ramifications and instability when it comes on to social unrest in your country over food and them things, all of them connected, man. You know, world war is also connected to food. You know what I mean? So the world can go at war, you know what I mean, based off of economic ramifications, you know, and lack of food and all of this. You know what I mean? Add fuel to the fire, because even though is a pandemic basically disrupting food now, if war should start on the planet, you know what I mean? Food would deliberately not be distributed because everybody is gonna hoard for themselves. You know, so there won't be ships and you're gonna have military blockades and all of that. So it shows how fragile the food supply is across the planet, even though there is food. You know what I mean? And we believe that this crisis that is coming up is planned, you know, just like how this COVID is planned, you know. So, you know, what's up next is food not be able to reach your table. You know, over the years, countries basically forsake their farming, their production to feed their own people. You know what I mean? Whether them try to industrialize the food thing where they basically they start to ship majority of the food out. You know what I mean? Which basically is a recipe for the disaster. Mass production of food basically, you know, disruption can cause, you know, bankruptcy, you know, in that department. So it's not by having a whole heap of food that produce and a send out and anything that can prevent famine, man. It's stability. Stability. You know what I mean? That is the key. Without no stability, there's no food. Regardless of how much acres planted, with how much fruits growing on trees, it won't reach a table, man. That's how it is, man. And the Lord basically set this famine up. You know what I mean? As I say, all these things are interconnected. Disasters, pestilence, and social stability. Whether you want to be a world war, military-like area of unrest in your country. All these things interlink. You know what I mean? That you don't have famine. They say, for nations shall rise against nation. So right in this now, you know, say, oh, you know, food distribution are cut off when nation rise against nation. You know what I mean? Because you're depending on other nations and other nations' production of food for you to eat. You know what I mean? Especially out here in Jamaica, man. The majority of what people consume in Jamaica here coming from abroad, man. You know what I mean? And that is a recipe for disaster. You know? For nations shall rise up. So if in this eventuality, you would have food at the table. For nations shall rise against nations, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famine and pestilences. They are interlinked. And earthquake, there won't be earthquake, disasters, man. And an earthquake in diverse places. You know, places where basically that is important. You know what I mean? In the stability of the food supply chain. You know, things are gonna happen some place where basically are gonna disrupt food from being distributed, man. And we can see effects of what COVID do, you know, but not to the great extent as yet what the scriptures say. Believe it or not, man. Hey, look, man. Lord is not joking, man. And you see, even though people are gonna die in World War III and other wars are coming, a lot of people are gonna die of starvation, man. Whole heap of people are gonna die from starvation. Prophetically, that's how it is, man. And we can see it on the horizon, man. Brother's been doing videos showing you the crises that's are coming, man, which are food crises. Let me find a precept here. 16. Where is it again? Where is it? Let's see if we can do it by a search. Oh, sit here. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and 22. It says, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. You know what I mean? So believe it or not. You know what I mean? Whether it won't be planned or not, there's going to be a famine, man, on a global scale. And these are some of the ways of famine come about by these other systems breaking down. You know, you have a domino effect. A domino effect will happen, man. Any part of the chain link bust, you know what I mean, or a chain link drop out, the whole chain get knocked. You know what I mean? So that's what is coming. Believe it or not. It say for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. See? And the others that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. These things are interlinked. Wars are interlinked with food shortages, economic stability. You know what I mean? All them interlinked, man. You know? So we are seeing the breakdown of the current systems that basically keep things together now on the earth. You've seen them falling apart, and therefore the effects of them falling apart is going to happen. You know what I mean? Thus saith the Lord. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. You know? So with that we say Kalalal. Kalalal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash, Doba Anas to the apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to all the brothers out there. Keep pushing this word in sincerity and in truth. Shalom.